I'd like to share a story with you about a person that I couldn't help but really badly needed to because our situations were very similar. I work at a pet hospital, and this woman stood out to me. She was very frail, she was small, seemed to be about 17 even though she's actually in her 30s. Kept mentioning to one of the receptionists who was right next to me that she couldn't afford the treatment that her dog needed, and her dog needed it very badly. And so I then might have stepped over boundaries and asked what it was her pet needed. Her pet needed medications for anxiety, which led me to ask why her pet is dealing with anxiety. And she said, you know, her housing right now, she comes from a 7-year-long relationship that ended in terrible mental and emotional abuse, and now she's living in a shelter with her animal. I come from an abusive relationship with one of my parents, and this parent was my sole parent, and with my parent not realizing how much stress she was putting on me emotionally and physically, I had no choice but to leave. My housing situation was also, it wasn't a mess, but it was constantly changing, with rent being increased twice a year. Over time, that rent increases wouldn't stop, which then led to me having to make certain sacrifices. And so if I can't afford my housing situation, or if I'm constantly changing, it's really hard for me to offer solidarity to someone who is also looking for the same thing. And maybe that was the hardest thing for me to realize in the end, was that I can't help someone if I can't help myself.